Republican Tim Sheehy defeats three-term incumbent John Tester, extending the GOP's Senate majority and paving the way for Trump's agenda to become law in January. Senator-elect Tim Sheehy joins us right now. Senator-elect, thanks so much for joining the program. I think a lot of people are excited for another door kicker to be in Washington. You didn't only defeat him, but you blew him out of the water. How were you able to do that?
Well, it was a lot of hard work, Lawrence, and you're right. We got a lot of doors to kick because we had a lot of work to do. I mean, we just heard it from Mark Siegel about, how much problems we have with the FDA and just our basic food supply. And, our government is not functioning as well as it should. It's not serving its people as well as it should. It's not too much for the American people to ask that their government put the interests of our country first. And I think when you asked why we won so handily, I think that's what it comes down to is common sense. I mean, our message was based on let's bring common sense back to our government. Montanans want a secure border, safe streets, cheap gas, cops are good, criminals are bad, boys are boys, girls are girls. And that kind of message where, policy, initiatives and identity politics, I think falls to the side when people say, I just want a government that does its job, makes my life better, and gets out of my way. And that's really what our campaign's been focused on. I think common sense is resonating with people, and that's why we won so big.
So, Tim, it looks like the former president has set his agenda. You just highlighted it. The Republican Party has a massive coalition right now. Black folks, Hispanic folks, working class folks. I mean, it's a diverse party at this point. The question is, once it gets to the Senate, how are you going to pass this legislation? So when it's time to cast this private vote, I know it is private, who are you going to support for the leadership of the Senate?
Well, I don't even know many of these guys yet, to be quite honest with you. As you know, I'm a first-time candidate for anything, not even student council I ever run for. So I'll get to know some of these folks in the next few weeks here when I get there and start to figure out what priorities are going to align best with the America First agenda. Again, it's about common sense. So we'll see who's on the docket when we get there, but not sure it's going to be yet. I got a lot of folks I have to get to know in a short period of time. I will say we have a fantastic freshman class here with our Senate group. I think those of us who've been called and those of us who look like they're going to be called are some fantastic, not just candidates, but they're going to be fantastic senators too.
Tim, I get the impression there's going to be a lot to do on this agenda when it comes to passing legislation. But is it fair to say the border is going to be the number one priority when it comes to legislation? Obviously, we expect day one the president to sign some executive orders to really put a stop at the border. But from a legislative standpoint, is that the first thing you guys tackle?
I think it's just so important the border has a legislative solution. The border has been, in the hands of the executive. And of course, it's a hot potato issue, goes back and forth. One executive seals it, the next administration unseals it. And we need to pass legislation that by law secures the border in perpetuity. And in addition to the border, creates metrics around immigration and funding for border security that are going to be enduring and can't just be undone or overridden with executive order. So yes, I believe that will be, if not the first, among the top. And then of course, we've got to get inflation under control. We got to stop printing money. But of course, those issues are linked. Massive immigration into this country has a direct impact on the economy of this country. We've had more people come into this country than we've ever had in the history of our nation in a very short period of time, whether it's housing, whether it's healthcare, whether it's inflation. That issue has a direct impact on the economy too. So we got to solve both those things, and that's going to be our top priority.
Mr. Senator-elect, congratulations. The special operations community, everybody's so proud of what you were able to accomplish. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lawrence.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.